And we're going to start over and then we'll demo each thing separately, right? These are fast demos just to give you an idea. Here, I do really want you to try some stuff. I kind of feel like if I go to a CE class and I don't feel really awkward at some point during that class, I didn't really try, or they just weren't teaching anything. So, so I want you to try stuff. I like to use a lot of leverage. I keep my table kind of high. It's just my own sort of quirk. So a lot of times I'm up on the table for the leverage. So one thing I like to do to get open up the lumbosacral area is get either one knee or both knees on the table. That gets me up over the back, so I'm not giving CPR to the spine, right? I like both knees. It's a little better angle, so I'm gonna get both knees up here. When you have both knees on the table, if my legs are together and I try to work, my low back's probably gonna hurt later, so I'm trying to get kind of the best spread I can with my legs, right? Whatever's comfy for you. I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna use radial bone and kind of the extensor muscles, and I'm gonna get a nice pin in there. Doesn't that figure? Yep. Spread. I'll get this nice kind of pin, and I'm usually going to be on the other side of the iliac spine, right? I'm going to come down onto the glute for the first part. I'm going to come in here, and for a second, my hands are together. I start to push. This is effort, right? Muscles I'm using, but as soon as I get that kind of A or those outward angles, I just lean, and that spreads open. It's a nice big opening. I can lean in there like this. How are we doing?
Great.
I can really get tight. But I don't flex my back, right? Just stand and come here and lean, open, and I can run that up. So that's a nice kind of hip opener. And then I can do things a little more strength related, but if you use your body weight, it really can be body weight related, is I'll come under the hip and I'll hook it. If they're tickly, I'll get a little white towel, a little kind of long towel, and put it there so I don't tickle them. And I'm just gonna pull the hip back, I'm gonna push on the upper rib cage. And what I'm really doing, if you watch, I shift my body weight and I just kind of shift back. Right? I'm not doing this kind of like, oh, that's good. I just shift back. And then I can do all sorts of stuff in here. All right? And sometimes for that, that's a little bit of work up on the table, so maybe I take one step off. Oh, it's a lot easier now. How we doing?
Great.
All right. So I'll switch again, watching out for ticklies. I grab that rib cage. Got her a little bit there. I'm just trying to mobilize that thing, just trying to move it around, see what's going on, okay? Then I'll do, I like to do kind of ringing. I'll come up, do both, push, come across, deep, pull, push, warming the area up. So I'm just kind of fascial, blood flow, vascularization, all that kind of stuff in that area, and just warming it up. So those are really basic, but it's a nice way to get in there. It also helps me to figure out, am I going to have problems with my other stuff that might be a bit bigger in this area, right? So I do find out if she's ticklish in both areas here. I do find out if there's something going across here that's going to trigger anything, it's going to be sore, so that's kind of the big thing there. But I'm going to come up on the table, I let them know what's going on. I'm going to put my knees in your glutes, okay? Shouldn't be any sacral pain, shouldn't be any shooting down your legs, okay? If anything's not good, I can't see your face, so make sure and scream, right? Because I have to figure that out. I don't use her as a vault to get up, because that's not good for her back. I usually put a fist on the table, put a knee up, come up and over, swing it like that. So a lot of my tie work is up here, okay? So a lot of this work is the lung, gives me my power. And when I really want to work into the sacrum, I'll come in, get the knees in. How are we doing?
Great.
If my toes are cold, my feet run colder than my body. I'll have a heater sometimes on the floor, but if I don't, I'll know, hey, my toes might be cold, so sorry. Just better than a shock kind of deal, right? And then do a couple things. So the first one I do is I got the knees and the glutes really good. Any problem, by the way?
No, great.
You're just, I mean, 99% of my clients, there's just no problem. It's a great structure, right? I'm going to come in, hands are close together, knees are close together. I'm going to pull my knees down. To do that, my toes, they kind of pull me back. Makes sense, right? So I'm not pushing into her. I'm more like pulling. And then I'll get this low back opening. Hands go up, low back pulls down. I push that and go all the way up. Do this kind of work. Doesn't work for everybody. Some clinics you have to have one foot on the floor. I do think with a high-low table, you can probably get that table close enough so I can have one foot on the floor and get it done. Maybe not. It's up to you to figure out with your management. But I like a lot of work up here. So there's a lot of opening. When my work is going, I'll have my hands going up, my legs going down at the same time doing that. I'll come in. I can come in and I can work my knee in here. Right? Got a big ball player you don't want to have to really kind of knock yourself out on. That's good work. How we doing? And I work like this, so I'll actually have my leg up so I have skin, I can get done that way. And nice thing is this, is if you are outmatched, if you're petite compared to your client, and there are some clients I'm petite compared to, right? This is a really easy way to get some work done here, right? And you can get pretty darn sensitive with your knees, with your elbows, and see what's going on, so try to work in there a lot. So a lot of you will probably do the leg up and over for working piriformis and glutes, right? And so, I think some people do it like that. I would do that with my elbow if I was going to do it, because it's just an easier way to get that done. However, I don't think that's the penultimate for getting this work, but you can get a lot of stuff done in there. Okay? Drape up really nice. And so now I can work out here, and my leg can actually control the amount of pressure in the hip. And what I do is I kind of figure out how much pressure she can take. Like that hip is pretty open, so it's actually kind of nice and open. So I want to maybe challenge it a bit more. So I'm just going to push it up, right? I don't want to use my bicep and tricep like tired, so I push up my leg. Now you got a much bigger area opening of the hip to drop into and to really work. How we doing? And the work would actually flow. I'll push off here. I'll create a lot of tension up here. I'll come around. I can work the IT band really good here. Then what I'll come back and do is I'll come back and I'll get the hip, not the toes, because I don't want to flex her foot, but I'll get right in that arch at the base of the heel, and I'm going to walk her up a little bit. Nice deep inhale. Okay, so I don't lift her. My body pushes her forward, and I get much different opening, right? It was a lot deeper in there. How's that right there? Yeah. If I'm doing really deep adductor work, this is how I can get the adductor work done. It's not quite as invasive as when they're face up, right? They're supine, so it's a nice way to get done. Work all that. I'll come under here, and I'll start to play with the hip, move it around. All right. Then I'll go for another push, and with my dancer people and stuff, I should have put one of you guys on here. So I get up here, that might be challenging for most people. I might go a little higher for some people, and with really flexy people, I'll come out here, and sometimes I'll take this all the way up and over their shoulders, just because that's the way their body is built, right? So I'm just going to where they're
See, and she and I are like, oh my God, yes, please.
Yeah, so that's the perfect example. No, yes, right?
I'm like, all I'm thinking is draping.
Oh, no. But here's what you could do for draping there. Have a second sheet right here, throw it sideways across your table, and do your work, right? Then everything's covered, you don't have to worry about being fine, right?
Almost the same kind of
So so easy draping is, like triangle, 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 until you get where you want. Reach up and under. I don't want so much fluff there, or so much of fold, so I reach a little lower, go high, come out, get my stretch. Just keep tugging that, just keep tugging that, just keep tugging that, just keep tugging that, just keep tugging that. Okay, and then come back, it untucks. Right? So once you do it 3 or 4 times, it's pretty simple. From here though, we're up. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put your leg on my your leg on my leg. Okay, I'm gonna lift it up, open the hip up. If there's anything not good, let me know. Okay. So she doesn't come with me, I just sort of stop and go someplace else. So I'm just going to lift under here. My hip is kind of doing the work. You see how that works really? The hand looks like it's doing it, but really it's a hip. I don't want to use my little arm as someone's big hip, right? There's a lot of muscles in there, a lot of weight, a lot of restriction. So I come up and I sit. Okay, it's a great thing. If I came up and right there, she's like, oh, I just don't sit. I just go back to something else, right? So when I come up, I get in here. This is kind of cool. This is where you really got to kind of play with your ideas about how to move the body, how to gravity, getting below the table, pulling your client. So I'm going to pull my client towards the edge of the table, maybe off the table, I don't know. But my low body and my kind of stomach is going to do most of the pulling. This is here, but I'm not pushing up. I'm just going to pull a little bit open, and if I really want to pull her, lean off the table. So it's me leading off, right? So open. Trigger point. Are you doing there? Yeah. And you find it's so easy to find. Most of the time, and I'll come back a little bit, change that. Sometimes I'll work here. I'll make sure I get the right client for this, but I'll work in here a little bit. How we doing? Here I'm watching knee torque, so I don't want to torque the knee, but I do want to use the lever. So I'm really trying to palpate here really carefully, make sure that I don't have the shearing going on the knee. I want to make sure that I'm kind of going to turn up my hand even, because that's the big problem out there is you get really focused on this and you sort of jam the knee or whatever. And then I'll come back. When I come back, I'll probably reach under this way, here, and I might come up for a stretch. Might not, depends on the person. Bring it back. Okay, that's the big hip move prone. This one also with draping probably an issue, so 6 years draped. So all I do, this is a normal drape, but just to drape for this, I might take the drape up on top, put it in the arm. And I'm going to pull a little slap so there's more here to give, if that makes sense, right? And then I'm going to get a leg out. So this is one of these cool tie stretches that looks really profound, but I can do it on my 85-year-old clients, right? Because the first part of this is a full body kind of rotation. There's not a lot going on. It ramps up, but I was in a class. So what I like to do it is this. I like to grab the knee and the foot's in my armpit, or down here wherever it fits. If I got a super long person, yeah, I know. You get the video though. If it's a super long person, I can't fit him there, then I put him on my tummy. Right, either one. I'm not going to lift, because this is Arnold Schwarzenegger, let's say. If I lift that, I'm going to the hospital, right? You know, with a hernia and back problem. I'm going to rotate. So all I do is I just grab this. I'm going to grab with 2 fingers. Nothing's going on. I just turn. Okay? Not like, do you feel much there? There's not much going on there. Because like if I get here and I feel tension, restriction, I'm going to kind of stop right there, do my work, because that person does not rotate, right? But if they rotate, I'm going to go here. Once I get there and I feel pretty about the turn, I can reset. And I can start to lock this up. So that's not too challenging, a little more challenging, getting pretty challenging, starting to really challenging, right? And I can figure out what I want to do with that client. How we doing?
Great.
And let's say I get a little tired now. Put my leg up, set it on there, arms free, do my work, what I want to do. Okay, here. And it's pretty impressive. So here's the thing about this. There's some other ways to pull this stretch. It might be more efficient, might not, I don't know. But your client will never forget the stretch. And sometimes there's a couple things that happen here. Your efficacy goes up. Their involvement's like, oh my, what's going on? They can't, you know. And you get a better Yelp review, you get a bigger tip. Your client's probably going to heal a little better, not necessarily because his technique is so amazing technically or therapeutically, but because what's going on neurally and emotionally and all this, it's like, man, my therapist rocks, right? And it's not hard. So there's more to just the technique than sometimes stripping this whatever. So I do that, pull up. I can get really crazy. I can lock this into my hip. And now with my hip, I can push up. I'm doing. And now we mortar and pestle that joint like crazy. So this starts to get pretty darn good. How we doing? And for the most part, I'm just following that joint. I got the soft stop, right? So this is all free motion. Okay, now we're into that spongy part. So now I'm going to rotate through that spongy part, right? It's like you know, if you can palpate through that, you won't overdo the client. Okay. And again, down. Right. All right. And that's what I have planned for prone stuff. Decent?
Oh,